Hello and welcome to my channel. I want to do a little talk about cases and why I moved to a new case rather than building my system into my old case and using a lot of the same parts. So my old case was a Corsair Obsidian 550D, and to be honest, I love this case. Two 5 gig USB 3 ports, but the problem with it is you open and the door gets in its way. Very sound dampened. I actually removed this panel in the last year. Screen filter. Slots for the air to go through, so it could get enough air in there without it choking itself trying to get through all these bins. But definitely not super airflow, but could be an airflow case. 6 hard drive slots, plus 4 optical slots. 2 fans at the front, and you could mount 2 more here. End of life, I removed these cages and I stuffed my SATA-based SSDs up here, so I could have clean airflow through, airflow up, and this could be an out or an in, and then an AIO radiator at the top. Top panel removable. But I decided to go to the Fractal design Torrent. I just loved the way it looked, and it basically just won me over. 2 big fans at the front, 3 140s on the bottom, GPU, CPU air cooler, and so why did I move to the new case? I wanted more ports, and I wanted Gen 2. And the other reason is I figured it'd be easier to sell, which is my current plan, my old components in a complete box than to just take out the motherboard, the cooler, my expansion cards, and just sell it like piecemeal, especially with what's going on in the world right now with the pandemic. So the other thing I could do with this is turn it into a home NAS, and I went through the expansion. I could put 4 more hard drives in it, 6, so that would be 10 hard drives, so that's quite a lot of storage. And there's plenty of SATA ports on my motherboard, which is a Asus Maximus So I want to do a quick talk about temperatures. So this is with the 11 series, so that would be in the Fractal case. 64 degrees, clock frequency got up to 1995, the average being that. And with my original 6700, it actually managed to boost higher. I don't know why. I didn't change any settings. Temperature is very similar, so the airflow in the old case really wasn't that bad, but I did notice that at the end of each run, the Fractal case would cool off substantially faster. But I wanted to talk about the life of my Corsair 550D. This is its second build. The original one, I had a Intel i7 950, and I had it hooked up to an AIO double stack fans, and it was airflow from the front to the back, blower card. When I upgraded to the 6700, originally I had this being intake through the top, and then all the air went out the back and came up through and then out the GPU. I hooked up fans on the back of the hard drive cages. It worked reasonably well. I never had any thermal throttling. At the time, I probably knew less about computers than I do now, at least airflow wise. And then at some point down the line, I upgraded to a 1070, same CPU. And I kept this as an intake with a blower style card, which honestly was a mistake. I probably could have gotten or kept my GPU a little bit cooler had I not done that. This is an upgrade I did, start doing upgrades, changes to the internals of the system in 2020. I took out the driveways, put the SATA SSDs up here. Because they have no moving parts, I just kind of threw them in there. I repasted my CPU and swapped the fan, so now it's an outtake, an exit. This fan spins very slowly as an intake. Intake, 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 and the airflow just kind of goes up and up, so it's like a chimney. I did not record GPU temperatures, but my CPU definitely got cooler. Of course, I repasted it, so I don't know if it's because of the fans, the paste, or what. See, I also rotated it from the original. The biggest advantage with the Noctua fans was that I could run them at 1000 RPM, or near 1000 RPM, and they're near silent. And then all this was while I was waiting for a new GPU. I waited in the long lines like everybody else, and I got an RTX 3070. Very fancy looking version. There's my original GTX 1070 at the top. And it was a massive card in this case. So I did think about upgrading my system to Intel 12th gen. I'm not an Intel fanboy, or going Ryzen. But I ended up going Intel simply because I didn't want to reinstall Windows. I was lazy. So because I didn't want to reinstall Windows, I wanted to stay on Intel just so I wouldn't have any driver problems. So that's kind of the story with my cases. Well, have a great day. That's the end.